listening to Season 3 of The Bo's Know, the podcast where we will talk to students, teachers, staff, administrators, and more to share their stories from the world of education. I'm your host, Mr. Bose, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. So today I have with me the three returning administrators to QI Roberts for this year. One of them just happens to be returning from a different timeline. So why don't you introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Hi, I'm Joe Theobald. I'm the principal.
Hi, I'm Tammy Thornton. I'm one of the assistant principals.
And I'm Sharice Williams, the other assistant principal.
It's so good to have all of you back on the podcast. So starting out, intro question, what's your favorite school story or tradition from QI or otherwise?
All right, I'll jump in on the first one. I'm going to steal Miss Rogers' story because honestly, that's the one that when she used it, I thought, oh yeah, that was a magical day. Miss Rogers got trapped in a feed barrel on the ag farm, possibly for hours, and we couldn't find her, couldn't figure out where she was. She tipped over into a feed barrel, poor thing, and it all ended well, but it could have been a disaster. So we've got some new safety measures in place, but yeah, that's pretty funny.
I think one of my favorite memories is seeing Mr. Theobald dance at the Spirit Week pep rally. The kids went crazy, and his wife even made jokes about it way after the fact.
And I would say my favorite memory that I've had at QI has been, thus far, but getting greater, is being involved with the seniors and having the opportunity to give my son his diploma.
Yeah, I was actually talking about a situation like that with some of the teachers of the year yesterday on the podcast when I was recording. One of them was talking about how they almost turned down the nomination from their school, but their son was like, but Mom, that means you could be on stage and give me my diploma and speak at my graduation. And that was kind of the little nudge she needed to be like, no, I can accept this. It's
awesome.
Okay.
Oh, what a great experience it is.
All right, so our fun question for this season is, if you could have a superpower, which one and why?
Apparently,
I did withhold some secrets.
Mr. Bose did not give them those questions. I think he might have given me the questions, but I didn't make it to that attachment to that email. If I had a superpower, it would be traveling quickly. So whether it's flight or just being able to teleport or just be able to show up at something without the travel time, just because time is just so important. I say it all the time, it's the only finite resource. We don't know how much is in that bank account. And so every minute we waste, every hour we spend in a line waiting for a flight or whatever it might be, that's less time you get to enjoy something else. So that would be my superpower, and make the travel time to school every morning quicker too. That'd be great.
But you enjoy that time.
Sometimes.
I think mine would be a fix-it wand, where no matter what the problem was, there was a way to just magically wave the wand and fix it without any complicated scenarios, without anything trampling on something else, and especially for when students are super stressed, to be able to just wave that wand and help them relax and realize they can accomplish anything.
I feel like that superpower is a little like asking the genie for more wishes. Was one of your wishes there?
That's really a hard one. I would have to say the superpower I would want, and since you said a wish from a genie, would be to be all that I need to be in that moment. So wherever I am, wherever I need to be, and whatever needs to be done, I have the superpower to do it.
All right, very good. All right, so before we dive into the real questions of the podcast, of course I have to ask, quality, integrity, or respect? Which one and why?
Ooh, I'm all about integrity, doing what is right when no one is looking.
I would have to say that's mine too, but I also like our last piece of mutual accountability. I think that is imperative in all of our relationships between adults, between students and adults, across the board.
Yeah, and mine stays with integrity as well. Just being true to what you're supposed to be accomplishing and doing it the right way, and being honest about the way you're doing it. I think that the rest of it is built upon that. So, absolutely.
All right, very good. All right, so let's dive in. So we have been back for a while. Our year had an interesting start with all of us and everything back, so we didn't get this recorded before the school year started. But some of our listeners may not know. What are some new things to campus this year and some changes that people might notice around campus?
Oh my goodness, there are so many changes and new things. But I will, and just to kind of free up some space for everybody else, I'll say that a couple of course offerings that we're doing are going to be big changes. First off, I'm very happy to announce that we are offering our biblical studies course this year. It's kind of the logical next step in the progression of classical. AS level classical, A level classical, and then they go into that biblical studies. Just making sure that our students kind of have a well-rounded understanding of kind of historical foundations of our culture. So I'm excited about that. We're also kind of pitching into a more generalized engineering program. So Mr. Rothschild's robotics class has changed into Mr. Rothschild's engineering introduction class. And I think that that's kind of representative of what we're trying to do as far as offering the newest and greatest in STEM education, but also remembering that strong liberal arts education is going to be super important for everyone, just to become a better person through education. So those are my two big changes that I would highlight.
And my big changes are the people. We've got 4 new teachers to our school this year, and we have a new paraprofessional. So actually, I'm sorry, so we've got Miss Hall, Miss Lettinen, both of those in the math department. We have Miss Gilliard in the science department. We've got Mr. Weaver and Mr. Natterbaugh, so 5 actually, and then our new para, Miss Cassidy. So new faces that bring great things to our campus and to our school family.
I would say some new changes that we have. We have some new procedures on safety that have been implemented very well. Exciting news is our 7th and 8th graders eat second lunch, and our 10th through 12th graders eat first lunch, and they are really, really enjoying getting to experience eating the delicious food in the cafeteria first.
Yeah, and we're working on that bigger cafeteria for next year, right? So we can accommodate this growing school enrollment here.
That's a change too. Yeah, we are about 100 students larger than we were 2 years ago, which is 22% increase. So we're growing and expanding, and so I don't know if the cafeteria is going to get a remodel, but it is more crowded on the sidewalks
for sure.
Awesome. So we have all of our results back, our ACE results, our AP results, our state results. Some of these came back over the summer, so we've had a little more time to digest them. But before I ask the question, because this is my podcast and I have license to humble brag a little more than sometimes the 3 of you feel like you can, I just want to highlight a few of the things that jumped out to me as I was looking at our results. So our 7th grade accelerated math was top 4% in the state. Our biology EOC had no 1s, and we had a near 90% pass rate with them. Our 7th, 8th, and 10th grade ELA were top 5% in state results. The school as a whole, while not as exciting as top 10, we were still top 15 for like schools in the state when you compare like for like, which is amazing. And then when you look at our AP and ACE exams, 732 total exams passed by our students in this last exam series, which is, if you do the math for the average cost of tuition in Florida, it's almost $500,000 in tuition that our students have earned.
So I want to just snap my hands. That's a great celebration.
So we had 34 of those exams were at our highest level. We have a new kind of high for QI with 107 AP exams being passed this last year. 32 of our students are already qualified for their ACE diploma, and basically a third of our students, so 50 students, have passed 4 or more exams already. So that's kind of my maybe not so humble brag on the students and the teachers, and all the family and support we have around that. But so now I'm going to pass it off to you guys. What do you feel are the highlights or the things that you are most excited about our results from the past year?
I can go. Well, I am excited about those academic achievements, but also what help our students are they are engaged both inside the classroom and outside of the classroom, participating in sports, clubs, student organizations, and our school also led the way with the most volunteer service hours in our community. So I think that's another point why we're able to have academics. Our students are also making Putnam County a better place to learn, teach, and live.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to add to that and just say, those successes, tempered with the understanding of we are an academic magnet school, and we do draw students who are really focused on achieving, but then to kind of understand that. So they come as students who are ready to engage and ready to do well in their minds. But once they get here, they realize that this is more difficult than what they have done before, because they were shining stars and superstars in elementary school. And they come out here and they realize this goes fast and it goes all the time. We don't have a lot of downtime. The fact that our teachers, our faculty engages those students, brings them along, holds them to the highest standards, sometimes drags them across the line for the achievement that we get. I think that says so much about just the culture of our faculty and their skill level, and their dedication not only to their profession but also to the students and to the vision that we have here at our school. And it's remarkable. And you're right, we don't take a whole lot of time to brag about it, but yeah, it's definitely something to reflect on and to appreciate in our community.
And I think a non-number win, I was able to see at the beginning of this year. And having been gone for a year, it was really great to come back and see it happen. It was a little stressful at the very beginning of the year for the entire lead team because of schedule changes and that sort of thing. But I watched kids come in to Ms. Hodges' office and articulate specifically what they needed to do as their next steps and how their schedule needed to be altered in order to get the biggest bang for their buck, so to speak, in earning that ACE diploma or getting to where they needed to be. For kids to own that piece and to know what they need and to articulate it and fight for it was a huge win. And to see that in mass amounts was a really big thing. So I think that's also something to celebrate.
Yeah, the culture change, and this is my 6th year here,
Yes.
and the culture change from 5 years ago of, I guess the perfect example is actually walking into your AP Calc BC
Yes.
course and seeing it full of students engaged, up and moving around, and wanting that class compared to a few years ago where our top math classes were really just, our handful of students who knew they wanted to go into engineering. Our students now seem to have really bought into the idea that much like football players go into a weight room, they'll never actually bench press on a football field, but developing their body protects them and makes them better athletes. The same way developing their brain will help them be better at whatever they choose to go into in the long run. So absolutely, yeah, that's been a huge win.
Yeah, and I think for the listeners who don't exactly know, what QI is, first off, check out our website, check out our school profile. It's all there. It's all great. But, we are in Putnam County, which is rural north central Florida, and we are the academic magnet, but it's not like our average SAT, ACT scores are tipping the scales off the charts. We have just good, strong, solid students that are willing to put in the effort to realize those learning gains. And, we weren't top 10, like I said, but, we're top 15 in the state, and with magnet programs, like programs that people are on a waiting list to get into those schools because they are quite literally the best in, Jacksonville or in South Florida or in, their major metro areas. So I'm always excited when I get to brag about the school and what we can do with the opportunities we can give our students that they might not otherwise get. So.
Absolutely.
I know our teachers don't hear this often, but I would like to just say thank you for the quality instruction, because the instruction that I see occurring each day in the classrooms, it's really what's making all of this happen. So shout out to our teachers and staff. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And absolutely. All right. So we've talked about our scores. We talked a little bit about some of the changes around campus, but what are some of the things, the events or things that are happening this year that the three of you are excited about or that you just want to highlight for people?
Well, I'm super excited just to be back here at QI with our school family and our students. I'm eager to take part in the pinning ceremony and to see how that's evolved since I left. I'm also, of course, excited about Spirit Week. I love all of the things that get the kids excited about coming to school.
We got your day in too, so you better bring it.
Okay. And I'm also excited to see that we are continuing to add A-level courses to our program. It didn't used to be the case, and it seems like we are continuing to add and build on that, and so our kids are getting more strength in these areas, and they're just doing better and bigger things.
Yeah, and for the listeners, the A-level program that we've talked about here, it's the Cambridge International program. It's the second year of a course, and internationally, the A-level would be what students take to get into your universities, to get into Cambridge and those different universities in the United Kingdom. So, our students are working at a level that students who are going to some of the top worldwide institutions are taking to get into those and are finding success. So
it's exciting.
Well, welcome back. I'm glad you're back too, Miss Thornton. Some of the things I'm looking forward to this year is our class of 25. We celebrate the 25th day of each school day leading up to graduation for those seniors. Our AVID team is expanding and doing great things, looking to see some instructional strategies. A lot of our electives, our students are embracing them and enjoying having them. Some of those are our ag and band and ACE PE and travel and tourism. And our new nutrition class, students are learning all different kind of things on how to take care of themselves and become better students. So that's really exciting for me this year.
Yeah, and I'll just, what I always look forward to, and this year I'm even more excited about, is like homecoming dance and prom. Homecoming this year for us will be on a different date than some of the other high schools, which allows some of their students to come to our homecoming, which I think makes it more fun. It allows some of our students to go to their homecoming dances, which I think makes it more fun for them. So I'm super excited about seeing those opportunities for our students. And also the band is doing, for whatever reason, the band has the Simpsons theme. And so hearing them play the Simpsons theme, walking down the sidewalk every day, it's been a highlight lately. So there's also the Simpsons theme coming out, though, because I'm hearing it.
But that show I'm excited about.
Yeah, so if you want to check out the band, they perform most Saturdays in October. Just check out the school website and school Facebook for those details. Those will be coming out as we know more. So before I go into the last question, is there anything else any of the three of you want to add? I know I kind of skipped a couple of questions, so I don't want to eliminate any of the pre-prepared responses that you might want to share.
Oh, last question away. What you got?
All right. So as a leadership team, as the leaders of the school, it's a three-part question. So what are your goals for the school? And then how does that then play out for the teachers and the students this year?
So I think, we talk about our goals for our school kind of every year at the beginning of the school year, that one day we want to get to 100% of our students getting their ACE diploma and going off to college with that Florida Bright Future Scholarship. I think the realistic goal this year, with all of the changes that we've seen and that we're experiencing, I think the most important goal for us is that we continue to grow together as a faculty, as a staff, and as a group of students. We have we have our largest 7th grade class, maybe ever. We want to bring them into the culture here. We have quite a few new teachers, which out here doesn't happen very often. And so I think the biggest goal for those folks is just to understand what we do and why we do it, and they have really just bought into the culture, and they're jumping right in, and that's been fantastic. But yeah, I think if we continue to do what we're already doing well, I think a lot of those quantifiable numbers will start moving even further in the right direction. We already achieve an incredibly high levels, and we want to just continue to push in that direction, but we need to do it through our culture that is supportive and that is caring and that helps new faculty and staff members jump right in and figure out the different ways we do things. And so that, I think that would lead to success by the end of the school year.
And to piggyback that, I couldn't agree with that more. To piggyback that, we started in pre-planning with a theme for friends and filling each other's buckets and talking about what keeps our own cups full, which kind of goes back to mental health and making sure that we're taking care of our mental health while we're doing all the things that are necessary, that are sometimes hard and difficult and time-consuming, that we're keeping an eye on each other and making sure that we're okay in the process.
And I'm excited to hear that we are still sticking with the mission of excellence in all endeavors.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end it than that, and I think I've taken the three of you off the grid long enough. If I keep you any longer, people might wonder where you went. So thank you all for joining me, sharing a little bit about the hopes and dreams of the future this year of QI, and celebrating a little bit of what happened last year.
Well, thank you for having us. It's always good to jump off the school year and do this podcast and remember and reflect on the positive things that we're doing and continuing to do. And this is such a great platform for us to be able to share those things with everybody around the whole wide world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Listeners, if you like the podcast, subscribe on your favorite podcast player of choice so you don't miss out on future episodes, and please share with your friends. Until next time, excellence in all endeavors.